Okay. So today's lecture will be regarding the cardiovascular system, no? This is sorry, sino yung unmute? Please mute yourself. Okay. Okay, so let's start over. Today's topic is on the cardiovascular system. So your cardiovascular system is part of your circulatory system. No? The circulatory system is a system that pumps and directs blood and the substances it carries to all tissues in the body. This includes your cardiovascular system, which is our topic for today, and your lymphatic system. Your cardiovascular system carries blood, while your lymphatic system carries lymph fluid. Okay, so yung topic natin focuses on this one. Okay? So your cardiovascular system has the following components. It contains your heart. It contains also your arteries and capillaries and your veins. So yung iyong blood vessels, no? So hence the term cardio for heart and the vessels vascular. Okay, yung vascular that's for referring to the vessels. Okay? Next. So your cardiovascular system is actually divided into two segments. No, you have your pulmonary circulation and your systemic circulation, and then of course there is your heart at the center of it all. No, so meron tayong dalawang type of circulation. No, kung ano yung flow nung blood sa body natin. The first one being the pulmonary circulation is the circulation of blood towards the lungs. Okay? So, bakit siya dinadala sa lungs? Siyempre, for oxygenation. Okay? And once the blood has been oxygenated, pwede na siyang paikutin systemically, as in throughout the body. Okay? The oxygenated blood will go through the body to bring the oxygen to your tissues, to bring nutrients to your tissues, as well as to remove the waste from your tissues. Okay? And then bring it back to the heart. Okay? So, yun yung ginagawa ng systemic circulation. No? So you have two, you have pulmonary and then your systemic circulation. So makikita niyo siya dito, no? You have this is your pulmonary circulation. This is your systemic circulation. Ay, sorry, ito pala. Systemic circulation. Okay? Your cardiovascular system is lined consistently, all components of it, by simple squamous epithelium called endothelium. No? Simple squamous epithelium called endothelium. It's the internal surface that lines all the blood vessels, even your heart, uh, and all the lymphatic vessels. Also, no? So all parts of your circulatory system is lined by endothelium. Okay? So now let's discuss this circulation. No? So kasi inuna ko na to para matapos na. So ito mahab. How does blood flow through your heart? So ito, dito na lang mas maganda yung pagkakita niya. So when you have blood na naggaling na sa the rest of your body, it has all the wastes, it has all the carbon dioxide. Uh, how does blood return to the heart? It goes through the vena cava, superior and inferior vena cava, going into the right atrium. Okay? Once the blood is in the right atrium, it will be passed to the right ventricle, and then in the right ventricle will pump that blood towards the heart. No? So dadaan siya sa pulmonary arteries. Okay? The pulmonary arteries will send that blood to the pulmonary area. Pupunta siya sa lungs mo, no? To the pulmonary circulation system, no? Dadaan siya from large arteries to medium arteries to small arteries going towards the pulmonary circulation hanggang makarating ka to the pulmonary capillary level where gas exchange will occur. Okay? Magkakaroon ng exchange dito. Yung carbon dioxide na dala ng deoxygenated blood will be replaced by oxygen. Okay? So yung blood mo ngayon magiging oxygenated blood na siya. And then that oxygenated blood can now be distributed to the rest of the body. Okay? So from the pulmonary capillaries, siyempre, magiging venules, small veins, medium veins, large veins. So palaki ng palaki until you reach the left atrium. Okay? When you're in the blood from the left atrium flows to the left ventricle. The left ventricle will pump that blood towards the aorta. Okay, and the aorta, your biggest artery, will pass it throughout the body, through the large arteries, through medium arteries, through small arteries, through arterioles until you reach the capillaries of the systemic circulation. Okay? So, yung capillaries na yun, doon nangyayari ulit yung exchange. Okay? So, another round of exchange happens here. Yung oxygen, ibibigay mo na ngayon sa tissue. Yung carbon dioxide na galing sa tissue, kukunin na ulit ng red blood cells mo. Okay? And then, now you have the oxygenated blood. The oxygenated blood goes back through the heart from venules to small veins to medium veins back to large veins, maging vena cava, pabalik sa right atrium. Okay, so ganun yung nangyayari sa circulation natin. No? So you have pulmonary circulation, you have systemic circulation. Okay, so this is the written summary of what I was just talking about. So if this one's a bit confusing, you can just read this one. Okay, so next. Now let's go to the different components of your cardiovascular system, no? So dun muna tayo sa uh, binanggit, which is your heart. So the cardio part of the cardiovascular system. Okay? So the heart is a muscular pump that propels blood throughout the circulatory system. It's made up of two atria. Okay? Palitan natin yung color niya. Two atria. You have your two ventricles. Okay? And then you have your arteries leading from it. You have your pulmonary trunk as well as your aorta. Okay, so the right side of the heart is responsible for sending blood into the pulmonic circulation. The left side of the heart is responsible for sending blood into the systemic circulation. Okay? So, quick review ng anatomy ng ating heart, no? You have your superior and inferior vena cava supplying blood, sending it to the to the right atrium. Okay? You have your uh, left and right pulmonary veins going into the right atrium. Okay? So, yun yung yun yung mga vessels that send blood into the heart. You also have your atrioventricular valves, okay? And your semilunar valves, okay? Nandito meron sa aorta. Okay? Yung AV valves mo, iba yung structure niya doon sa semilunar valves mo na nakikita doon sa may mga arteries, no? The AV valves have leaflets. Yung leaflets niya attached to the muscle sa ventricles, okay? Okay? So, ang tawag doon sa mga nag-a-attach na connective tissue is chordae tendineae. Okay? And then, this part, yung fleshy part na naka-attach doon sa chordae tendineae is called trabeculae carneae. Okay? So, key thing to remember regarding your heart, di ba? Look at the walls. You have your right and left atrium. Yung walls nila, manipis lang. The ventricles, the right ventricle is slightly thicker than the atria because it pumps against the pressure of the pulmonic circulation. But if you look, the thickest one of them all is your left ventricle. Kasi your left ventricle pumps blood to the systemic circulation and the pressure in the systemic circulation is very, very high. So you has to pump against all that blood and against the resistance of the aorta. No? So mataas yung resistance in the systemic circulation, so mas makapal yung walls ng iyong left ventricle because it needs to pump it has to fight against a greater resistance. Okay? So, recall lang din natin yung positioning and appearance ng heart natin in the thorax, no? So, nasa thorax siya, nasa loob ng rib cage, between your two lungs in an area called the mediastinum. Okay? Your heart is is fist size and the shape is para siyang pyramid. Okay? It's wider at the base tapos yung apex niya nandito para siyang pa-triangle. It tapers towards over here. Okay? So, ganun. So, now let's go to the histology part of your heart. No? So, sabi natin, the innermost layer of your heart, of course, is the inner layer of endothelium. No? Pero that endothelial layer is actually part of the three main layer, part of the innermost of the three main layers of your heart. No, you have your endocardium, your myocardium, and your visceral pericardium or epicardium. Okay, so the innermost of the three major layers is your endocardium. Doon mo makikita yung endothelium na simple squamous epithelium. Okay? And then aside from the endothelium, sa ilalim noon, there is a middle layer of myoelastic smooth muscle and connective tissue. And then beneath that myoelastic smooth muscle layer, you have a deep layer of more connective tissue called the subendocardium. Okay, so in the subendocardium, remember that you find the impulse conducting system, which we will discuss later on. Ito yung mga SA node, AB node, bundle of His, etc. Okay? So dito sa picture na to, hindi natin masyadong ma-appreciate yung mga itong connective tissue, pero quick overview lang. Dito banda yung endocardium. So, kumbaga, ito yung heart, kunyari, this is the ventricle, nandito yung pinaglalagyan ng blood, okay? When the blood flows into the heart, it's over here. This is the lumen of the ventricle. So, dito yung banda. And then after the endocardium, you have your myocardium, okay? And then after your myocardium or your muscle layer, you have your pericardium. Okay? So, dito yung pericardium. Okay? So, myocardium is mainly cardiac muscle. As we mentioned, the your heart walls are thickest in the left ventricle because it has to fight against a lot of resistance. Okay? And then the outermost layer of the walls of your heart is the visceral pericardium or the epicardium. Okay? The lining of this visceral pericardium is simple squamous mesothelium and then it also has connective tissue. Okay? So ano tong visceral pericardium? Bakit tinawag siyang visceral pericardium? Yung heart mo kasi nababalot siya ng parang lobo, no? Parang lobo na covering that serves as cushion. Meron din siyang lubrication, decreases friction para hindi siya kumikiskis against other organs. And there is a pericardial cavity that surrounds your heart, no? Okay? So, you want to imagine it, para kang merong lobo na meron kasi na sinuntok, no? If you punch a balloon like this, okay? And you look at the balloon, the inside of the balloon is the pericardial cavity. Okay? The outside of the balloon, you refer to it as the parietal portion. Yung inside ng balloon na nakadikit, well, not inside, but the part of the balloon that touches your fist, you call that the visceral portion. Okay? So, if you correlate it to the heart, this one that does not touch the heart itself, but also lines your pericardial cavity, is called the parietal pericardium. This part that touches the heart's surface, the visceral pericardium. In between that is the pericardial cavity, which contains pericardial fluid. Okay? Kaya yung pericardial fluid na yun is made by the simple squamous simple squamous epithelium or mesothelium na tinatawag yung lining dito sa pericardium natin. Okay, siya lang gumagawa ng pericardial fluid. Okay, that pericardial fluid is there to make para hindi nagkikiskisan yung visceral at parietal pericardium. Okay, so para when your heart pumps, heart mo, di ba, gumagalaw siya. So nag-expand, nagko-contract. So para smooth, para walang friction, yung action ng heart natin, that pericardial cavity is there to act like a cushion. Okay? Pero sometimes, when that pericardial cavity gets filled with fluid, nai-impede yung pag-pump ng heart mo, you get what you call pericardial tamponade. No? Your cardiac tamponade rather. Okay? So yung cardiac tamponade, emergency yun. So kailangan tatanggalin mo yung tubig para makapag-beat ng maayos yung heart natin. Okay? So yung favorite nila yung pinapalabas sa mga medical drama. Okay? So next. So you have here the layers of your the layers of your heart, no? You can see the ito yung ito yung innermost, which is your endocardium. Underneath the endocardium, part of your endocardium rather, nasa ilalim, the deep layer of connective tissue in your endocardium is called the subendocardium, okay? And then underneath the endocardium is your myocardium, okay? So myocardium is simply cardiac muscle. No, na-discuss naman natin yung structure ng cardiac muscle before. You have your branching cells, you have your intercalated discs, the centrally located nuclei, etc. Okay? Ito, another example ng nung endocardium natin. Okay? Meron din tayong myocardium dito. So, more pictures lang to. Okay? And then, here is the is a view of the mesothelial side of things. Yun sa may visceral pericardium naman, no? The mesothelium is this one, or yung ating visceral pericardium or epicardium. Okay? Pero ito yung mesothelial layer niya. Okay? In your epicardium, meron din connective tissue aside from that mesothelial layer, no? Meron din tayong connective tissue, meron tayong mga nakikitang autonomic nerves. You also see fats. Okay? So, yun yung epicardium natin. And then, after the epicardium, you have your myocardium. And then, sa pinakaloob, yun yung endocardium natin. So, this one, this is facing the outer surface. Itong specimen na to, this is facing the inner surface of the heart. Okay? So, more pictures. Okay? Epicardium. So, outer surface to ng heart natin. Okay? Hanggang dito. Sa epicardium mo rin makikita yung tinatawag nating coronary vasculature. What's the coronary vasculature for? It supplies your heart with blood, no? So, syempre, yung heart mo, organ din siya. So, kailangan niya rin ng sariling blood supply. Okay? So, the blood supply of your heart is the coronaries. Okay? So, yung coronaries mo, nakikita sila sa epicardium or your visceral pericardium. Okay? So sa epicardium, merong mesothelium, merong connective tissue. As you can see dito, maraming adipose. Okay? Meron din tayong epicardium meron ding parts of the heart na yung epicardium niya wala ganong adipose tissue. Okay? And then of course underneath uh, uh, your epicardium is your myocardium. Okay? This one is visualization of your cardiac muscle. I'm sure familiar na tayo dyan, no? Intercalated discs being the characteristic feature that you see only in cardiac muscle. See the nuclei, see the branching cells. Okay? Next. And then in the innermost layer, you have your endothelium. So yung pinaka-surface. Okay? Meron siyempre epithelium yan. So there is connective tissue underneath that supports it. And then underneath that connective tissue is your myocardium. Okay? So, yun yung layers of the heart natin. Okay? Uh, so, now let's discuss what something that we call the cardiac skeleton. No? So, sa heart natin is not sabi natin it's a muscular pump, pero hindi lang muscle ang component ng heart natin. It's chunk of it is also made of dense irregular connective tissue. Okay, so this dense irregular connective tissue is located in the endocardium and covered by a thin layer of endothelium. Okay, so where do you find this dense irregular connective tissue in the heart, your cardiac skeleton? You find it in the interventricular and interatrial septa, in the cardiac valves and cusps, and the chordae tendineae. Okay, so discuss na natin kanina yung chordae tendineae. Ito yun, di ba? Yung mga nag-a-attach ng AV valves mo to your heart. Okay, so these are your chordae tendineae. And then, sabi natin, you see it in the cardiac valves and cusps. Okay? Ano pa isang sinabi? You see it in the interventricular septum. You also see it in the interatrial septum. So, ibig sabihin sa pagitan ng atrium and ng dalawang atrium. No? So, yun yung components ng cardiac skeleton natin. Okay? So, here is your cardiac skeleton. No? So, you see the valves here. Okay? Can't see the interatrial interventricular septa from this view, but you can see the chordae tendineae. So those things are mostly made up of dense irregular connective tissue. Okay, so in this specimen, you see yung nakastain na blue, yun yung dense irregular connective tissue, no? So this is a valve, okay? So this is actually is a cusp of an AV valve, no? So color blue siya. This one is dense irregular connective tissue. The AV valve is attached to heart muscle by chordae tendineae, itong CT. So ito uh, uh, ito yung uma-attach sa papillary sa sa papillary muscles ng heart mo. Okay? Next. So, mali pala yung nasabi ko kanina, no? Papillary muscle itong mga to. Okay? Itong kabitan ng uh, chordae tendineae. The trabeculae carneae is yung mukhang butas-butas na surface sa loob ng ventricle. Okay? Correction lang yun. So, uh, saan na ba ako? So, next, after the skeleton, let's discuss the conducting system of the heart. Okay? So, di ba sabi natin, your heart is a pump. It's a muscular pump that continuously contracts throughout your life, no? So sabi natin din, for muscle to contract, there has to be something that stimulates that muscle. Okay, so the one that stimulates your cardiac muscle to contract is your conducting system of the heart, no? So the conducting system is your conducting system consists mostly of modified cardiac muscle fibers, no? And there are several uh, parts of it. You just have to memorize the order in which they appear, no? So from it starts from the sinoatrial node to the AV node to the AV bundle of His to the left and right bundle branches into the Purkinje fibers spreading throughout your ventricles, no? So ang pinaka tatandaan nyo dito yung bida, si sinoatrial node. Okay, sinoatrial node is known as the pacemaker of the heart. It's located here. Malapit siya sa root of the aorta. So, nandito siya sa ibabaw ng atrium, no? So, your sinoatrial node is deemed as the pacemaker. Bakit? Because all of these portions of the conducting system of the heart is able to stimulate rhythmic contractions, no? Pare-pareha sila ang lahat ng part na yan, pwedeng mag-send ng signal kung gaano kabilis magko-conduct yung puso mo. Pero, the key difference is, magkakaiba sila ng rate. Okay? Magkakaiba sila ng kung gaano kabilis yung gusto nilang takbo. Okay? Ang pinakamabilis mag-utos, si sinoatrial node, kaya siya yung laging nasusunod. Okay? So, aamba pa lang yung iba, nakapag-contract na ulit ng si sinoatrial node, so na-override niya yung mga kasunod niya. No? So, the one that gets to decide how fast your heart beats is your sinoatrial node. Okay? So, this sinoatrial node, kapag ito, nagkaroon ka ng dysfunction dyan, the other parts of your conducting system can step up, no? So, sila yung magsaserve as the pacemaker, no? So, pero pag ganun, siyempre, ayaw natin nangyayari yun, okay? So sinoatrial node is the pacemaker of the heart, okay? So, from the sinoatrial node, magsisend siya ng action potential, we pass it to the next step, which is your atrioventricular node, AV node, okay? And then, after it gets to the AV node, there is a slight delay because of the presence of your cardiac skeleton, no? So, parang nagkakaroon siya ng insulation part of the cardiac dahil sa cardiac skeleton found in this area. Okay? And then, after a slight delay, it will be transferred to the AV bundle or your bundle of His. Okay? Your atrioventricular bundle or your bundle of His. The bundle splits into two para mag-supply ng left and right ventricle. So, you have your left and right bundle branches. And then, the branches, of course, taper and become thinner and thinner as it spreads in the form of Purkinje fibers. Okay, so ganun yung flow of stimulation sa heart natin. Okay? So, tapos na tayo sa cardio portion. Now, let's go to the vascular portion. No? So, now let's discuss the blood vessels. No? So, yung blood vessels, pare-parehas lang halos yung mga tissue nila, no? So, when you look at them histologically din, halos pare-parehas lang din yung structure. There are just key differences in the composition of the walls. Pero, for the most part, it's actually basically the same. You just have to remember the differences in them. Okay, so what types of tissue do you see in the vascular walls? Of course, sabi natin consistently, you have your endothelium, the lining of your heart, also all of your blood vessels in the circulatory system, which is made of simple squamous epithelium. Okay? So this endothelium is a semi-permeable membrane between blood and interstitial fluid. No? So it has several functions as far as vasculature is concerned. It provides a non-thrombogenic surface. Ibig sabihin, it discourages clot formation. No? Kasi yung blood vessels natin, Siyempre, gusto mo smooth surface yan. Bakit? Siyempre, para kung hindi smooth yan, as in the case kung may atherosclerosis ka or merong yung mga blood vessels mo nagkakaroon na ng bara dahil sa diet mo, ah, ah, hindi maganda yon, okay? Gusto mo smooth surface yan para yung flow ng blood mo smooth lang. Kasi kung hindi smooth yung surface niyan, pwedeng maputok yung blood vessels, pwede magkaroon ng clotting, parang that can lead to um, clotting then eventually, no? So, the, the function of your endothelium is to maintain and is to provide a non-thrombogenic surface. Okay? So, uh, uh, at the same time, your endothelium can also regulate local vascular tone because it can secrete um, um, substances that promote vasoconstriction, promote vasodilation. It also serves a role in inflammation and local immune response. Okay, it can secrete substances that attract your blood vessels. Attract your white blood cells to come to the area. No, in cases of injury. And it also is responsible for secreting growth factors in cases of injury. Kunyari, kailangan mo nang mag-generate ng bagong blood vessels, meron siyang sinisecrete na tinatawag na vascular endothelial growth factor. So that is one of the examples, no, of the factors that your endothelium releases. Okay? Aside from the endothelium, you also see smooth muscle sa ating vascular walls. Of course, the function of the smooth muscles is to regulate vasoconstriction and vasodilation. Pag nag-contract si smooth muscle, magko-constrict. Kapag nag-relax si smooth muscle, pwedeng mag-dilate. Okay, so this smooth muscle is found in all vessels larger than capillaries. Kasi your capillaries are just one cell layer thick, no? Pero all other vessels above that, meron silang surrounding smooth muscle. Okay? Your smooth muscle fibers in your blood vessels, of course, are connected by cap junctions. Next. You also see connective tissue. Okay, so connective tissue, syempre mayroong mga fibers dito. You see collagen fibers in the subendothelium between the smooth muscle layers and the outer covering, no? And you also see elastic fibers, particularly syempre sa ating mga arteries, no? This provides resilience required by your vessels to stay intact under high blood pressure. Okay? So, yung vessels natin, meron din siyang three layers, diba? Sabi natin kanina, yung heart, meron tayong endothelium, meron tayong endocardium, meron tayong myocardium, meron tayong pericardium. So, dito, sa vasculature, meron din tayong three layers, no? Para silang corresponding. You have your intima, your media, and then your adventitia. Yung lining, yung muscle, and then the outer area. So, para din siyang nagko-correspond dun sa heart natin. Okay? So, you have layers of the vasculature. The innermost is your tunica intima. Okay? This has the endothelium. It has subendothelial loose connective tissue. So, similar din sa kanina. And then, it has some smooth muscle fibers. Okay? And then, underneath the tunica intima, you have your internal elastic lamina that separates it or that serves as the demarcation versus your tunica media. Okay, so let's look at this image. Sorry. So, here you have your tunica intima. This side is the artery. This side is the vein. Okay, so these are small arteries and small veins. So, intima, you see the simple squamous epithelium, no? Underneath that is your subendothelial layer. Okay? And then separating the intima from the next layer, the media, is your internal elastic lamina. Okay? So, and then after the internal elastic lamina, you now go to the media. Okay? Sa yung tunica media, doon mo makikita yung makapal na smooth muscle layer in your arteries. No? Sa arteries, makapal yung smooth muscle layer and it has a lot of elastic fibers. Meanwhile, sa veins, you have the smooth muscle layer still, of course, but it's very thin. Kaya yung mga arteries mo, when you look at them grossly, makakapal sila tignan, tapos uh, mas bilog. Oh, no? Mas bilog sila when you look at them grossly. Pag nag-dissect kayo, mas bilog yung itsura ng mga arteries, mas makapal sila tignan because of this tunica media, no? In comparison, your veins are more floppy. Mas pag nakikita niyo sila in specimen, usually flat, no? Hindi sila bilog na bilog, hindi kagaya dito. Ito kasi para silang dahil marami silang elastic tissue, bilog na bilog siya, it maintains the roundness of the vessel. Itong veins natin, dahil manipis lang yung tunica media nila, tendency nila mag-flatten, no? Unless may laman na siyang dugo. Okay? And then, the one that separates your media is your external elastic lamina, separating it from the tunica adventitia. Okay? So, sa tunica adventitia, tandaan, sa arteries, the tunica adventitia is thin. Sa veins, dito mo makikita yung makapal na tunica adventitia. Okay? So, the veins has thick tunica adventitia. What do you see in the tunica adventitia? You see your vasa vasorum. What's your vasa vasorum? These are the vessels of your blood vessels. Okay? So, sila yung blood supply ng mga larger and small and medium-sized blood vessels natin. Okay? Para saan itong vasa vasorum? Blood vessel naman to. Di ba dapat marami na siyang uh, dumadaan na dugo? Bakit kailangan mo pa lagyan ng blood vessels dyan? Okay? Simple lang. When your blood passes through your artery, okay? In theory, dapat magdi-diffuse yung oxygen and nutrients, di ba? From the lumen. Okay? May dumadaan na dugo. May dumadaan na dugo, it will diffuse, sorry, it will diffuse oxygen to the lumen. Okay? But sometimes when your artery or your vein is too thick, hindi niya naaabot yung dulo. Okay? Hindi niya naaabot yung outermost layer. Kasi galing siya ng lumen eh. Okay? So, kung mag-provide siya ng oxygen hanggang dito lang. Okay? What about the outside? Eh di, alangan naman nung walang blood supply to. Kaya meron silang nilagay na vasa vasorum in the adventitia. No? Para dun sa uh, tissue that is too far for diffusion. No? Para dun sa tissue. Kasi syempre, hindi naman pwedeng hayaan na mamatay lang yung outermost layer of the vessels. No? So, the vasa vasorum is there to supply the areas where diffusion from the lumen cannot reach. Okay? Next. So, this is your next slide. No? Are the layers of the vasculature. Sinabi na natin. You have your tunica media. Okay, tayo na umayos. Anyway, you have your tunica media. Okay, it's concentrically arranged, smooth muscle with interspersed collagen, elastic fibers, and elastic lamellae. Okay, separating your media from the adventitia is the external elastic lamina. And then when you are at the tunica externa or adventitia, you see connective tissue, nerve fibers, and your vasa vasorum or the vessels of your vessels. Okay, here is an image of the layers of your blood vessel. No, you have here the artery, you have here the vein. Okay, so the artery, you can see, ito yung innermost area. Okay, it's the innermost area, the inner portion of the chamber. Okay, you see here, of the chamber, or the lumen. Okay, dito yung lumen ng blood vessel mo. Okay, so here, the surface is your endothelium. Okay, this one is the tunica intima. Okay, beneath the intima, you see the internal elastic lamina. Okay, and then after the internal elastic lamina, you see the uh, myo, uh, myocardium tuloy, the tunica media. Okay, so as you can see, tunica media in the artery is very thick. Mas manipis yung tunica media in the veins. Okay, after the tunica media, you have your tunica adventitia or externa, where you see a lot of uh, connective tissue. You see your nerves. You see your vasa vasorum, which serves as the blood supply of the outermost layers of your medium-sized arteries and veins. Okay? Ito, zoomed in lang to ng adventitia of your large arteries. Okay? So, flow of blood, we've already discussed, di ba? Kanina. From larger veins, from capillaries to small veins, medium vein, capillaries, venules, small veins, medium veins, large veins, back to the heart. And then, uh, from the heart, dadaan sa pulmonary circulation. Galing sa heart, uh, uh, to the systemic circulation, you go from large arteries to medium arteries to small arteries to arterioles to capillaries. No? So, flow of blood review lang yun. So, ano yung itsura ng capillary bed mo? Okay, ganyan. Okay, and then they meet at the capillaries, no? Okay, so now let's go first to the arterial vasculature. Okay, so carrying blood away from your heart, no? So, here are the diagrams that represent the layers of your heart, no? So, halos pare-parehas lang naman sila. Nag-iiba lang yung thickness, yung smooth muscle layer, yung diameter, uh, and whether there is present vasa vasorum or not. Okay, so let's go first with your large arteries. Okay, your large arteries or your elastic arteries. Okay, pare-parehas lang to. Pare-parehas lang, paulit-ulit lang sasabihin natin. Okay, you have your tunica intima, of course, in the innermost. You have a thick media because this is an artery. And then your tunica adventitia. Okay, so ganun lang ulit yun. In tunica adventitia, when you look closely, you see your vasa vasorum that serves as the blood vessels for your blood vessels. Okay, when you zoom in, dito sa ating elastic artery, you see squiggly lines. Those are your elastic laminae. And you see also your smooth muscles, okay? Na spindle shape. Okay? So next, ganun yung itsura ng large artery mo. A medium-sized artery is, of course, smaller in diameter. The media is also thinner in comparison to the large artery. Okay? Pero pare-parehas lang yung structure niya. Sabi, intima, and then followed by your media, and then the outermost is your tunica adventitia. Okay, so structure-wise, sa loob, ganun lang din. Okay, between the internal and external elastic laminae is the smooth muscle layer or tunica media. Okay, and then after the medium-sized artery, your blood will flow into your smaller arteries. No? So sa small arteries, dito wala na tayong vasa vasorum. Okay, dahil because the diameter of the arteries are small enough na kaya na ng diffusion yung buong radius niya, no? So pag zinumin mo, of course, meron ka pa ring endothelium, meron ka pa ring internal elastic laminae, okay? And then you still have smooth muscle cells, no? So mas manipis na yung layers nito, at the same time mas maliit na yung diameter. Okay? And then the last part is your arterioles, okay? Your arteriole here, makikita mo, in comparison to your venule is uh, flattened, no? Your arteriole mo, bilog na bilog. Because of the presence of elastic fibers in this arterial vasculature, no? So, you see here, your endothelium, and then you see here the smooth muscle cells, okay? So, nandito na tayo sa arterial level. Sabi natin, hanggang arterial, meron pang smooth muscle. Pagdating mo sa capillaries, you only have one cell layer thick and the basement membrane because this is simple squamous epithelium. Okay? Simple squamous epithelium. Sa capillaries natin, actually, meron tayong three different types. You have your continuous capillary, your fenestrated capillary, and then your sinusoids. No? So, ano yung pinagkaiba nitong three types of epithelium? No? Your continuous capillaries are the most common type of capillaries. The majority of your capillaries in the body is made of continuous epithelium. Bakit continuous yung tawag sa kanya? Kasi the cells are closely opposed to and adherent to each other via tight or occluding junctions. No? Kaya smooth yung surface niya, continuous siya, wala siyang butas-butas. Okay, so ganito yung itsura niya under the microscope. One cell layer thick surrounding a lumen. Okay? And then, of course, it has a basement membrane. Okay? Next, you have your type of capillary called your fenestrated capillary. Fenestration, or merong butas-butas yung capillary na to. Kaya siya hindi naging continuous. Okay? So, this fenestrated capillary, the most prominent example is your kidneys. Okay? So, this is just a picture of your kidney. Wala namang malinaw na picture ng fenestrations as far as histology is concerned kasi medyo mahirap siyang tignan under the microscope. Just remember the fenestrations in the kidney para silang pangsala. 'Di ba? Para ka merong colander. Uh, Kunyari nagsasala ka ng pancit canton, 'di ba? Para matanggal yung water. So that's what happens when you're making urine, no? You filter your blood para hindi sumama yung cells mo, hindi sumama yung proteins, hindi sumama yung kailangan pa ng katawan mo, no? So this fenestrated capillaries are part of the filtration mechanism in your kidneys. Okay? Next, you have your discontinuous capillaries or your sinusoid. Kaya sa sinabing discontinuous, because the basement membrane of these capillaries are discontinuous, the cells are also not continuous. Meron siyang malalaking fenestrations. Okay, so and key thing to remember regarding your sinusoid is that its diameter is actually larger than your regular capillaries. Malalaki siya. Okay? Kita mo to, yung mga butas dito, ganyan kalaki. Tapos dito, yung capillaries, ang liit lang. Okay? So, sinusoids are larger than usual. Okay? So, kasi sinabing capillary because it's one cell layer thick. Pinagdadaanan ng blood vessels. Okay? So, examples of areas where you have discontinuous capillaries is areas where you need uh, exchange of macromolecules. So this is the spleen, your liver, as well as your bone marrow. Okay? So tapos na tayo sa capillaries. You have your, sorry, you have your veins, no? So dito tayo ngayon sa venous portion of your vasculature, no? So galing sa capillaries, you go to your venules, okay? Comparison, your venules tend to be larger at mas flat yung shape nila. Okay? Mas flat sila dahil kulang sila ng elastic fibers in comparison to your arterioles and the other parts of your arterial vasculature. Kaya when you look at them grossly, napipipi itong mga veins natin. Okay? Tandaan dito sa venules, you have your endothelium, single layer of cells. And in the venules, wala pang tunica adventitia. Okay? Your venules is also the site through which your leukocytes leave uh, the circulation. No? So kung kunyari meron kang sugat somewhere, tapos gustong lumabas ng leukocytes mo para pumunta sa site of infection, those leukocytes will actually exit at the postcapillary venules. Okay? Next, you see here, examples of your small vein, no? Pagaling mo ng capillary, paggaling mo ng venule, sa small vein naman siya papasok. Okay? So, anong pinagkaiba ng small vein dito? Okay? Ganun pa rin siya halos, except there's already a smooth muscle layer surrounding it para na po-constrict, nadadilate mo na siya pag kinakailangan. Okay? And then, once you get to the medium-sized vein level, doon mo na makikita, ma-appreciate ng malaki yung kanilang mga uh, layers. No? Uh, you see, of course, your tunica intima, and then you see your tunica media. Okay, so intima itong sa may taas. Bakit lang? Okay, so yung tunica intima sa may taas, tunica media, and then tunica adventitia, which is even thicker kasi we're talking about veins. Okay? And then, you see in the adventitia of these blood vessels, yung tinatawag natin longitudinal smooth muscle bundles. Okay, these longitudinal smooth muscle bundles are there to help push your blood back up to the heart. Kasi, for example, galing yung blood mo sa may feet, di ba? So, aakyat siya. Para umakyat siya, kailangan niya lumaban ng gravity. Okay? And the one that pushes the blood upwards are the longitudinal muscle bundles, no? In these large vessels. Okay? Another thing to remember regarding your large veins is the presence of valves. Okay? So, para saan yung valves? The valves are there to prevent the backflow. Okay? Kasi di ba, yung blood natin has to fight against gravity when you're sending your blood back to the heart. No? So, yung natural tendency ng gravity mo, hatake niya yung substances downward. No? So, so your veins try to propel blood past the valves. Okay? When the valves close shut, hindi na siya, kahit na mag-gravity pa, hindi na siya magba-backflow to the previous area. No? So, yun yung point ng valves dito. It's to prevent backflow of blood. Okay? And then you have your large veins. So example of which are your vena cava. You see here the intima, some subendothelial layer. You see the you see the tunica media, and then you see the large portion of your adventitia, where you also see longitudinal muscle bundles. Okay. So here are the summary table for the different types of vasculature. Now you have your large arteries, your medium-sized arteries, and your small arteries. No, you can see here the differences in their different layers and the roles. No, of these types of arteries. You see the arterioles, and then you see also your capillaries. These are one cell layer thick, endothelium lang. You see venules, small veins, hanggang dito walang valves. After the medium veins and the large veins, you see valves in the venous vasculature. Okay? So, let's have a quick uh, 10-minute break para sa next topic. Okay? Saglit na lang naman yan. Audio. Okay, so now let's discuss the last part, which is regarding your blood. Your blood is the specialized connective tissue that runs through the vessels through the heart of your in your circulatory system. No? So ito yung dumadaan dun sa diniscuss natin kanina. It consists of cells, also known as formed elements, and extracellular fluid known as plasma. Okay? So yung blood natin, di ba pag kinuhanan ka ng dugo sa laboratory, uh, kukunin nila yung sample, lalagay nila sa centrifuge. Okay? So pag nilagay nila sa centrifuge, yun, ikutin siya many, many, many times hanggang maghiwalay yung cells at yung plasma niya. So ganito yung itsura, yung sample mo pag napaghiwalay na nila. Pagkatapos na siyang i-centrifuge, maghihiwalay na yung plasma dun sa cells, no? So what does it look like? What is it made of? This red part is your hematocrit. It's the packed RBC volume. Okay, so red blood cell. Okay, the red blood cells, uh, so itong part na to is made up of red blood cells or erythrocytes. Okay, it's around 44% of the whole thing. So uh, pag tinignan mo yung specimen tube usually, around almost half, kulay pula. Tapos yung ibabaw niya, makikita mo color yellow. Okay? Yellow usually kapag normal, no? So, yeah, and that is your plasma. Okay? Your plasma is made up mostly, of course, of water and some solutes and proteins. Okay? And then in between the two, you see a whitish layer. That whitish layer is called the buffy coat. The buffy coat is where you find your WBCs, yung leukocytes na tinatawag, and then your platelets. Okay, so ganun ito yung components ng blood natin when you look at it uh, as a whole, no? So, doon muna tayo sa fluid portion of your blood, which is your plasma. Okay? It's a liquid portion of the blood. It's made up of 92% water by weight, 1% of other solute, 1% other solutes by weight, and 7% proteins, plasma proteins by weight. So, ano yung plasma proteins na nakikita natin? You see albumin, you see alpha and beta globulins, complement proteins, fibrinogen, and immunoglobulins. Okay, so isa-isahin natin sila. Your albumin is a major plasma protein that maintains your osmotic pressure. Okay? What is this osmotic pressure? It's the pressure that it keeps the water in your vessel, inside your vessels, no? Kasi yung mga blood vessels mo, di ba dumadaan dyan, is fluid blood, okay? Yung fluid na yon, meron din meron siya ine-exert na tinatawag nating hydrostatic pressure sa walls ng blood vessel, no? That hydrostatic pressure, tendency nun is for the water to move out of the vessels. That's hydrostatic pressure. Okay? So, kung hydrostatic pressure lang ang meron, mauubos yung laman ng blood vessel mo. Puro na lang yung mauubos yung laman na water inside your blood vessels, no? Lahat ng water mo mapupunta sa interstitial space. So, bakit hindi nangyayari yon? Because of the presence of your albumin. Okay? Your albumin, di ba? Your albumin are proteins. Okay, they are solutes found in your blood. Okay, so what does these solutes do? Uh, it maintains your tinatawag nating osmotic pressure. Bakit naging osmotic pressure? If you remember, osmosis, di ba? Osmosis is the movement of water from an area of low solute concentration to an area of high solute concentration. Okay, so the tendency of water the tendency of this albumin is to attract water from the interstitial space to go inside. Okay, so na-counteract niya yung hydrostatic pressure. So, in the end, yung fluid mo, uh, magbabalance out sila. Some want to go out, some want to go in. No? So maintain a constant volume inside your blood vessels. No? So, this albumin, being the solute, maintains this osmotic pressure. Okay? Water in the interstitium wants to go inside the vasculature. Okay? Next, you have your alpha and beta globulins, no? So, some of the examples are your transport proteins, yung mga transferrin, ferritin, etc. natin. You have your coagulation factors, no? These ones promote coagulation. And then you have your complement proteins that help with inflammation. So, nagtatawag siya it serves as cytokines, it serves as opsonins, nagtatawag ng other cells of the immune system. So, this is part of your immune system. And then your fibrinogen. Okay, your fibrinogen is a plasma protein that will polymerize during clotting. So, kumbaga, sa Lego, nagdudugtong-dugtong sila para gumawa ng clot kapag merong injury. Okay? So, you find that protein in the plasma. And you also see your immunoglobulins, also known as your antibodies, that are there to neutralize your pathogens. Okay? So now let's go to the different formed elements or cells seen in your blood, di ba? You have these formed elements. You have erythrocytes, you have your platelets, and your WBCs. Okay? So saan ba nakuha yung pangalan nito? The staining method. Okay? When you look at them also, they look red under the microscope, no? So, so when you stain them with the eosine and methylene blue dye. Okay, so paano ba natin pine-prepare your sample when you want to view them as a peripheral blood smear, no? You have a sample, kumuha ka ng blood, you put it on a glass slide. Pagkatapos mo ilagay sa glass slide, kukuha ka ng isa pang glass slide, gagamitin mo yung other glass slide as a spreader, okay? To spread that glass slide, to spread the blood on the slide para maging manipis na layer lang siya. And then once you're done spreading, you add eosine and methylene blue stain. Okay? The eosine and methylene blue stain will stain the formed elements in that sample at magiging ganito yung itsura nila under the microscope. So these ones are your red blood cells. May makikita kang maliliit na tuldok. Those are your platelets. And then these purplish ones, these are your white blood cells. Okay? So, ganito yung ginagawa in the preparation of your peripheral blood smear. Okay? So, now let's go to what these cells look like under the microscope. So, first, of course, we'll discuss the red blood cells. Okay? Erythro means red. So, these are red cells. Okay? So, red cells are biconcave cells that lack nuclei. Actually, kaya sila biconcave kasi wala na silang nucleus. Okay? So, dapat nandito yung nucleus nila, pero dahil wala na silang nucleus, nagkaroon ng uka. Okay? That's why when you look at them under the microscope, meron silang area of central pallor where the nucleus used to be. Okay? So, ganun yung itsura ng erythrocytes natin. Okay? Your erythrocytes are red due to the presence of hemoglobin. So, ito, mas makapal the areas of your cells, mas maraming hemoglobin, of course, mas pula siya when you look at it under the microscope. Dito sa gitna, mas manipis yan, so mas konti hemoglobin, kaya mas nagmumukha siyang pallor. Okay? So what is the function of your erythrocytes? Of course, it's to carry oxygen to the tissues and carry the carbon dioxide from the tissues back to the lungs for exhalation. Okay? Next, you have your thrombocytes. Thrombus is clot. Okay, so these are your clotting cells, except they're not really cells. So, they're cell fragments. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag nating platelets. Okay? So, these cell fragments come from larger cells found in the bone marrow called megakaryocytes. Okay? So, sa bone marrow mo, meron kang megakaryocyte. Anong ginagawa to produce platelets? You just chip off a small portion of a megakaryocyte, kukuha sila na maliit. Tapos, yun na yung magiging platelet na fragment. Nag-chip off lang sila doon sa malaking cell na yon to make your platelets. Okay? When you look at them under the microscope, they look like specks like this, no? Okay? And of course, the function of your platelets is for triggering of clotting. Okay? So, you have your erythrocytes, you have your thrombocytes. Now, let's go to your WBCs or your leukocytes. So, leuko is white blood cells. No? So, then your white blood cells are divided into two. You have your granulocytes, which means meron silang granules, and then your agranulocytes, which means means absence. So, meron silang they have no specific granules. Okay? So, doon muna tayo sa granulocytes. Okay? Your granulocytes, mayroon tatlo. Si Ben, basophil, eosinophil, and neutrophil. Okay, so yun yung tatlong types of granulocytes natin. Okay, so let's discuss first your neutrophils, which makes up majority of your WBCs when you look at the differential count. Nasa 70 usually itong mga to. Okay, your neutrophils are also known as polymorpho. Ako ba pwedeng sulat? Okay. Polymorpho nuclear cells. Okay? So, PMNs. Okay? Ano yung itsura ng neutrophils natin at para saan siya? So, neutrophils are phagocytic cells responsible for responding in bacterial infection. Appearance niya is that of having a multi-lobe nucleus, so 3 to 4, etc. And when you look at the cytoplasm, you see a lot of granules. Okay? Yung granules ng neutrophils, dalawang klase. You have the primary and the secondary granules. No? Merong, meron tayong azurophilic or non-specific, and then you have your specific, meron tayong specific and non-specific granules dito sa neutrophils natin. Okay. Next, you have your eosinophils. Okay. Ano yung tsura ng eosinophils? By virtue of the name, you see the eosino. So, ibig sabihin, mahilig siya sa eosine, which means it's reddish, pinkish underneath the microscope. That's why when you look at the cytoplasm, itong eosinophils mo, the granules are pinkish, orangish. Okay? So, specific granules love eosine. Okay? Where do you see these eosinophils? You see it rise in cases of parasitic infection. Okay? So, itong eosinophils, along with your basophils, usually pag nagpa-CBC ka, ang value niya, either 0, 1, or 2, mga ganun lang. Mababa lang yung levels nila. Ang makikita mo talaga, mostly, are your neutrophils, no? As far as your WBCs are concerned. Pero itong eosinophils and basophils, madalang silang tumaas unless sobrang lala ng parasitic infection mo. For example, yung lumalabas na yung bulate mo sa ilong, etc. Yung mga ganun, mataas na yung eosinophil level nun. Okay, meron na silang worms inside na nagpunta na sa ibang parts of the body, no? Doon mo na makikita yung eosinophilia. Okay? And then, these eosinophils also moderates allergy. Okay? Meanwhile, your basophils also have bilobe nucleus. Sorry, hindi ko pala nabanggit, no? Yung nucleus ng eosinophil usually bilobe. Minsan mukha nga siyang headphones na nakaganyan. Okay? Bilobe ang nucleus. Okay? This one is neutrophil in comparison. Okay? Makikita mo yung iba, yung kaibahan ng itsura ng cytoplasm at granules ng neutrophils in comparison to the eosinophil, which is pinker and redder. Okay? And then you have your basophils. So, basophil, ibig sabihin, yung specific granules niya, loves basophilic dye. So, nag-take up siya ng basophilic dye tremendously. Okay? So, here, you can see the basophil. So, sobrang intense ng staining ng specific granules niya. Hindi mo na actually ma-appreciate yung itsura ng nucleus. No? So, dahil sa taas ng taas ng affinity ng stain with the basophilic specific granules. Okay? The basophils contributes to the development of allergy. Yung eosinophils moderates the allergy. Okay? So, yung nagpapa-allergy, si basophil, because it also contains a granule, it also has granules that contain histamine. Diba? Histamine is isa sa culprits ng hypersensitivity. Okay? So, basophil is one of the culprits for the allergic reaction. Okay? Your eosinophil, it rises in cases of allergic reaction para i-moderate siya. Okay? So, ito pang pababa naman ng allergic reaction. Okay? Next, you have your lymphocytes, no? The lymphocytes are and your monocytes, sila naman yung agranulocytes. So, agranulocytes, ibig sabihin, they lack specific granules, no? Pero meron pa rin silang granules, but the granules are not specific, no? So, misnomer to na sabihin, wala talaga silang, sabihin agranulocyte, as in absence of granules. Meron. Pero, hindi kasing prominent ng mga granules dun sa kabila. Kasi yung kabila, meron pa silang specific granules that you find only in the type of cell. Okay? So, next, you have your lymphocytes. So, lymphocytes kasi developed in the lymphoid organs. So, paki-erase tong platelets. Ito. Okay? Little lymphocytes develop in the lymphoid organs. They are small to medium-sized cells with a round nucleus and a thin rim of cytoplasm. Okay, so here is an example of your lymphocyte. This is the zoom-in version. You see, majority of the cell is occupied as nucleus. And then the outside is the thin rim of cytoplasm. Okay? So, yung itsura nito lymphocyte mo actually, small to medium, madalas kino-compare yung size niya doon sa mga surrounding WBCs. Sorry, RBCs, no? Usually ka-size na lang yung RBCs para malaman mo lymphocyte yan. Okay? And then, you have your monocytes. Mono, nuclear. So, isa lang yung nucleus. Tapos, hindi naman siya mukhang may lobes, no? Your monocytes are mononuclear cells. These are the largest of your blood cells and they have the characteristic kidney-shaped nucleus. Okay? So, kidney-shaped nucleus. Okay? So, your monocytes serve as the precursor of your macrophages, di ba? We mentioned before, in connective tissue, di ba? You have your when your monocytes migrate to different tissues, nagbabago sila ng name, no? But before they went there, they were monocytes first. So, ito yun, okay? Before sila magpunta sa liver to become Kupffer cells, before sila pumunta sa CNS to become microglia, before sila pumunta ng bone para maging osteoclasts. These cells were first monocytes found in circulation. Okay? So, summary picture lamang ng ating mga different blood cells. And then, summary table of the different blood cells. No? You have your agranulocytes here. You have your granulocytes here. You can see the number of lobes. Okay? You can see the specific granules seen in the cytoplasm of your neutrophils. Meron silang primary, meron silang secondary granules, no? Okay? Meron silang primary, meron silang specific granules. Okay? Meron silang primary, meron silang specific granules. Itong tatlo, okay? Meron silang azurophilic, at the same time, meron silang specific granules that contain specific substances. Sa lymphocyte and monocyte, meron ding azurophilic granules, pero yung generic lang, no? So, wala sila no extra additional granules. Kaya sila tinawag na granulocyte. Okay? So remember the shape of the nucleus in your lymphocyte, it's round and there's just a thin cytoplasm. Sa monocyte, you have a kidney-shaped nucleus. This one is the one that migrates to different types of tissue. Okay? So here are the functions of the different types of cells, no? So lymphocyte is immune defense, okay? Forgot to mention regarding your lymphocyte. When you look at it underneath the microscope, you know that it's a lymphocyte but you do not know what type of lymphocyte it is. Okay? So lahat ng lymphocyte mo kasi magkakamukha lang itsura. Kahit T-cell pa yan, okay? Or kahit B-cell pa yan, yung gumagawa ng antibody. Pare-parehas ang itsura ng lymphocyte mo, no matter what you do. So you don't know if that one is a T-cell, you don't know if that one is a B-cell. Okay? You need further studies to confirm. Okay? So you have your lymphocytes and your monocytes. Yung function nila, monocytes become macrophages for phagocytosis of the debris. And then your neutrophil is the one that moves first against bacterial and fungal infection. Your eosinophil is responsible for defense against parasitism as well as moderates your allergy. And your basophils are the ones that actually provoke your allergic reaction because one of its granules contain histamine. Okay? So that's the end of the lecture for this week. Questions? If wala nang questions regarding the topic, thank you so much for listening and have a nice day.